Yeah, we, and by we I mean me and my dogs. Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Amy, if you've never been here before, and if you have, welcome back. So today I've got a really cool, exciting video. We are talking about how to start your own fashion brand, and I'm here with Elizabeth.
So I'm a fashion brand consultant and I'm an ex-buyer. So I used to buy for the high street brands, but now I'm working solo and it's great. Would not go back. And I work with independent businesses on their marketing, their manufacturing, sourcing, costing, production.
She is my consultant for my fashion brand. She helped me out with all sorts of things.
Yeah. Even if people have a meltdown, like I can help with that as well. Exactly. It's a bit like fashion business therapy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
On Instagram for questions that you may have about starting your own fashion brand. But loads of questions.
We did get really good ones. There was definitely some like patterns being repeated.
Yeah.
So we've pulled out. So apologies if it's not like word for word your question, but we've tried to like amalgamate lots of other questions so that everyone's get answered.
So yeah, we're going to go through them and we're going to tell you how to start your own fashion brand.
Yay! I'd say the number one question was like how to start from scratch and what the first steps are. There's no like right or wrong way, I guess, to launch a brand. It's quite a good idea to build your audience before you start making stuff, because what you don't want to do is go, here's all my product, and then it's just a bit of a tumbleweed moment and there's nobody there to buy it. So you want to be thinking about how to build an audience before you launch your product. I read an article recently that I've been banging on about how brands are being looked to as like somebody to believe in. So people were kind of losing faith in politics and not really sure where to go. They did a poll and people were more likely to believe in Nike than they are a political party. The way people join a like-minded community is by putting out what you believe in. So a political party would put out what they believe in, a religion puts out what they believe in, and they're saying that's what brands are doing now to build a like-minded audience.
Yeah.
So knowing what you believe in is actually a really good place to start when you want to build a like-minded audience, because you need to attract people that are like you. It helps, I think, if you are your audience.
Yeah.
So then you understand the people that you're talking to.
In physical things that you can do, it's like posting pictures, like quotes, like building a whole sort of
an aesthetic. You become known for something. So when I say to people, oh, do you follow Amy Fuchsia? They're like, oh yeah, she's the blonde girl who has like a really clean Instagram with like comfy clothes. And like in a sentence, that is kind of it. Yeah. And so you want people to say, oh, she's that person who. Whereas if you're posting swimwear one day and then cozy jumpers the next day and then sparkly dresses the next day, it's just a bit confusing. And you can do that on your own personal Instagram, no problem. But if you're a business, you want to be known for something specific. You can do it on Instagram, but even if you wanted to start a blog or a Facebook group or a Facebook page or a Pinterest audience or a podcast, it doesn't really matter where you start building your audience, just as long as you start building it with people who believe in the same things as you. And the other thing you can do is like a practical step. Sometimes it's quite like a big question to say, what do you believe in? But writing down brands that you like and people that you like, and then the reasons why you like them. Yeah. So whether it's Urban Outfitters because they're always ahead of the trend, and it's like, okay, then that's important to you to be ahead of the trend. Or it might be somebody like Lush who do the body care because they're very compassionate about the way they treat people, or Pret a Manger because they donate all their like excess food to homeless people. It doesn't need to be fashion brands. It can be anybody or any person, but writing down why you like them, and then you start realizing that they're the things that are important to you. Yeah, and writing down what you like about yourself as well. But that's really hard. Yeah, because sometimes people are like, oh, I don't know. Question number 2 is where to find trends and research. And it's a bit of an annoying answer, but it's like everywhere. And I know you're always going out to the shops and having a look at what's out there. And
yeah, I'm always, well, more online shopper.
Yeah.
But going to physically shops is really good. And looking at, like, taking into account the styling, if you're looking across different shops, what real trends are like showing through. And also, I'm a big Pinterester.
Yeah.
Pinner.
Yeah, whatever it is.
So I'll have boards of the different seasons. Yeah, I really find most of my inspiration through Pinterest. And then I'll go and I'll watch all the runway shows and pin from those anything that I like.
You can go on Vogue website, they're quite good, because they used to charge to like look at all the catwalks, but Vogue just made it all completely free, so you can go on there.
Yeah, so I'll go on Vogue, and then you just sort of like being aware of it and consuming it all, I think.
Yeah, and the big catwalks come out in like February and September, so even going down, if you are locally to London or Paris, wherever you might be, it's actually going to watch the people coming and going to all the shows.
Style things,
yeah.
You know, those are trends that you're going to see probably in the next year, all the street style stuff.
And signing up to brands newsletters, so any brands that you like, whether it's Reformation Day, their newsletter is really funny, and it's quite like tongue-in-cheek, but it's very aspirational with lots of fun imagery and just keeping up to date with what they're doing on a regular basis, and also how they speak to their customer. It's quite a good way of seeing that. And then there's trend forecasting websites that you can sign up to as well. They're tens of thousands of pounds, but their newsletters are free and they do give a lot of information away. So places like WGSN and Fashion Snoops are probably the two I like the best. Question number 3 is something that a lot of people asked as well, about how to find your brand name. There's loads of stuff you could say, but the number one tip I would say is that you've got to really, really like it, because you're going to be saying it a lot. And you're going to be telling all your friends, all your family, anybody online that you've got to create a website, a domain name, an Instagram. Everything's got to connect back to this name, and you've got to be able to say it with confidence. So if somebody says, what do you do? What's your brand called? You can't go, you've got to be so confident about your brand that you instill confidence in other people as well to find out more.
Yeah, you might want to take into account whether there is like an Instagram handle for it, or there is a Twitter handle, whether it is taken. And I think you just got to really identify with it. I came up with all sorts of, like, people giving me ideas for all sorts of brand names. And in the end, I just went with my name because I just didn't identify with anything, and
you know you're not going to get bored of your name.
Yeah, exactly, and it just felt right. But yeah, I think you've really got to identify with it, and it's really got to represent your brand.
And it's got to be easily searchable as well, so nothing that's really, really hard to spell, but equally something that doesn't already exist. So if it was dressing up, for example, like if somebody searched that in Google, it would just come up with loads of fancy dress websites.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
So even if you make a word up, so if it was that, but then you search it in a different language, or you spell it backwards, or you replace, take some letters out, just make it something that people can search easily on Google, because you will regret it every day. And other brand names have changed their name in the past. Like, there's nothing to stop you from changing it further down the line.
House of CB, that was one.
Yes.
They used to be Slut Boutique.
Yeah, ASOS was as seen on screen. So you can definitely tweak it. There's two things. One, you don't want it to stop you from starting it in the first place, because some people say, I've got an idea, but I don't know what I want to call it, so I'm just not going to do it. I'll just wait and wait and wait, and it's like an excuse not to start.
Yeah.
But equally, you want to have something that you
that
really
that was actually something my mum used to moan at me about, saying you need to decide on the brand name so you can get started. That was actually true for me. You just got to go with it.
Yeah. Just go for it.
Yeah. Number 4.
Number 4, I can't count, obviously, so it's how to make it unique, especially if you're doing something quite plain or simple, because it's how to make it stand out. And it goes back to understanding why you want to start the brand. I was listening to a podcast, I was telling Amy that it was quite funny, and you might stand for making women feel confident and empowered, and that's great, and everyone wants that. I want that, Amy wants that, and if you don't want that, then you've probably got a problem because it's not a very nice thing. So say everybody in the world as a brand wants to make women feel confident, but what's going to make you unique is why you want women to feel confident. So maybe you went through a tricky breakup and you felt really awful about yourself, or maybe you were bullied when you were younger, and it doesn't necessarily even need to be a sob story. It could literally be anything, but something that has affected you directly tends to be your why. Getting very familiar with that, and there's a guy called Simon Sinek who wrote a book called Start With Why, and he had a really good example about if Apple, well, I'll change it a little bit, but he said if Apple brought out a bottle of water tomorrow, you would probably try it, and you'd be like, oh, bet that's nice.
Yeah.
But if Microsoft brought out a bottle of water, you'd be like, what?
Yeah.
But they're both computer companies, and so why would you buy from Apple and not Microsoft?
Yeah.
And it's because Apple connect with you on an emotional level. What they believe in is that everything has to be the best. It has to be really clear and easy and streamlined and fresh and cool. And you're like, oh, okay. Whereas Microsoft, I don't really know what they believe in. They're just, you had them at school and maybe at an office, and that's kind of it. Like they're not really a brand, they're like an object.
Yeah. It's so clever, isn't it? It blows my mind.
I know. Apple. Selling is, it's a whole psychoanalyst thing that you end up in a bit of a hole of the way people behave. But it's an example to show that people don't buy Apple because they're the best. Because actually, when you look at things, they're not always the best. People buy them because of why they do things the way they do them and how it's like aesthetically put out. Yeah. So getting to grips with your why and reading that book, Start With Why, is a really great place to start.
And I would say also content, because recently there's a sort of tracksuit hoodie brand I came across, and they're just doing simple tracksuit hoodies, but their content is so, like, it looks so cool and their stuff looks so beautiful that I'm sold. You know? And they're just doing, you can buy hoodies everywhere. Like, why would I buy from them? But yeah, beautiful content, I think, really.
Yeah, and elevating you out of that price entry online brand. you want to sort of stay away from that, like the real fast fashion, because when you're starting a brand, those people are not your competitors. Your competitors are people who are other Instagram brands. So try not to compare yourself with people who are selling dresses for £4. Like, that's not where you're at. For your audience to buy from you over something that's like really, really cheap, you need to give them a reason why they should buy from you and not them. So yeah, great content is a good example. I know when I go shopping in person, I'm like, oh, it's so soft. Oh, touch this, touch it. But you don't have that online, so it's got to be like, it's got to look amazing before anyone's touched it. And
yeah, it's got to be a bit like that, but on your phone, hasn't it? Like, you know, lots of things to look at.
And video is really great for that, like showing the inside, the outside, why you chose the fabric, all of those things. Ideally, I would say, like, to try and be the face of your brand, like you are. I know you're not like at the forefront of your Instagram all the time, but people know who you are. They know that a person owns it, and it's like a one-woman band making it. It's quite admirable. So try not to shy away from that. Sometimes people are like, oh, it's not professional, or it's not a business if I'm there. But actually, how many times have you listened to a podcast with someone and gone, oh my God, she's so inspiring, I love her, I want to go and buy something to support her?
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Because I really definitely got hung up on that a lot at the beginning, that you know, that you want to be professional and do it how everyone else does it.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. When actually I really think like the face of like online retail is changing so much the way people shop and things like that. So definitely don't get caught up on how ASOS does it
or about us and we do this, but actually it's you in your bedroom. Like it's I and about me and I.
Me all the time. And like yeah, we, and by we I mean me and my dogs.
Yeah, they need to get on this. I've got one question which is quite tricky, and it's how to advertise it when you don't have a very big audience. It is hard. I'm not saying it's easy, but what I would definitely recommend is to pick some key messages that you're going to go for and put them on a loop and talk about it and post on a regular basis. Even before you've launched, this is like, try and do this before you've got to the point of launching. So whether you talk about street style, women in business and something else, that you just repeat that constantly. So you go on a loop of just repeating that content. And so therefore people get to know you for something. And it goes back to the point that we were talking about earlier, but being very, very consistent with your messaging to begin with. I'd say another mistake, if you like, that people make is that they don't spend enough time on marketing. That they think, oh, I've already said that once,
yeah,
so I'm not going to say it again.
Oh, yeah.
You need to say it. How many times have people asked you how tall you are?
Yeah, always. People are like, you have a fashion brand? And like, I literally talk about nothing else.
Yeah, and
you don't realise,
how many times you need to
say the
something.
same thing. People, you've really got to repeat yourself.
Imagine you're talking to your boyfriend when they don't listen to you, and you have to say it over and over again, or your brother or whatever, and you're just like, how many times have I said this? That's the level you want to be at. And then people still won't listen. Like, I work with this other brand and she hand makes everything. She says, I can make to order, I can make in any of these fabrics, any of these shapes. And people go, can I have this in red? And she's like, yes, I make everything. And she says she gets asked every single day. She says people don't understand that it's just her making it in her bedroom. She says it every single day. And also you're getting new people every day, so you do need to keep reintroducing yourself.
And people don't know your life, they don't know you.
Make them care.
Yeah, it's good to educate them, be like, tell them about you, and you just want to tell stories. That's what all content about.
That's a really good point. Write that down. Tell stories.
Write that down.
And have like a beginning, a middle and an end to your stories. So actually on Instagram stories even, don't put up a picture of your dog, then put a picture up of your dinner, then put a picture of your outfit. Like, tell a whole story just about your dinner if you want, if that's relevant.
No, it's true. It's true. If you are putting up random things that don't relate, people are like, but if you are literally showing them everything you bought from Tesco's, people are on it. Like, people want to be told stories. They want to know about your trip to Tesco's.
Or your whole outfit. Like, did you buy this top online or did you go to the store? Where's it from? Is tie-dye on trend? With your jeans, what shape are they? Why did you pick that shape? Is it because how tall you are? Do you have any others in that colour? Where did you buy your jewellery from? How did you decide to style your hair with that outfit? Blah, 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 blah. Like, just keep going on and on and on until you're like, I can't say anything more about this. And I'd say being really consistent and persistent with your content and keeping it really clear and focused for a very specific audience.
And you need to go out and find them as well on Instagram. Start talking to other people, make a community.
Comment, that's networking online.
That's how I started with my Instagram. I would talk to other fashion bloggers, I'd comment on their stuff, and you start, like, that's how I started building followers. Because then people see you making that interesting comment that they agree with, and then maybe click through to you and
have an opinion on stuff.
And then they can see your Instagram story that you've done that day about fashion, and they're interested in that fashion, and all sorts. spiral something there. I mean, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, like you have to give more than you get to begin with.
Yeah.
But try and stick at a consistent, clear message for 3 months, and then come back to me and tell me that you're stuck. And like until you've done that, it's like it's really hard to see what's going on. So stick at it.
So that is what last question were we on?
About how to advertise without a big following.
How to advertise without a big following.
Comment on bigger people's story is like, so if Amy posts, comment on her post, then her audience can see your name. They may or may not click through, but at least it's more likely than if you don't do it at all. They'll click through, see what kind of stuff you've got going on, like, follow, and keep them engaged.
And if you are a person and say you are like, you do follow maybe influencers that you really like, them, you'd love them to wear your clothes, if you like reply to their stories, talk to them, leave comments and stuff, and show that you are a real person, they may just click through and go, wow, what a cool brand that I've just like found, and you know, they might shout you out, you know. I think it is about being a real person, because there's lots of these online brands that are like
faceless,
weird bots. You know, and you
do follow Fridays as well, so like you shout out, you don't even need to call it that, but just shout out some other people with a bigger following than you, and everyone likes to have a compliment that somebody admires them, and then they'll reshare it and go thank you, and then Instagram makes that so easy that you can then click through to that post that you created in the first place. And it's called social media for a reason, and I saw something really good the other day that was like, you're not a TV broadcaster, you're on the telephone with social media, so it's not you pumping stuff out, it's a two-way thing. So make sure you're giving as much engagement that you expect back. The amount of people that say, how do you get good engagement? Give good engagement. You're halfway there. But consistently. I read a stat the other day that said in 2022, 82% of all content online is going to be made up of video. And if you are in 2022 and you're watching this, hi.
Is it true?
Is it true? Yeah, exactly. But the point is, video is super important. And I actually went to a meeting with a very, very big high street retailer when we were launching a brand before, and we said we were doing a photo shoot, and she said, have you got a videographer? And we were like, no. And she went, video like this, and started like slapping our hands on the table, and we're like, oh, so we need to get a videographer. And she was like, I cannot express to you how important it is that you build video into your content plan. Some people, I'd say, are really scared of like talking to the camera. That was quite a thing to build up to, wasn't it, with you and me? But yeah,
definitely talking to the camera. I didn't do that for a long time. I mean, you feel awkward, you're talking to a camera, it's not a person.
On your own in your house.
Exactly, like you almost want to whisper, don't you? Like watching Instagram stories or somebody talking to you, it really, like, I don't know what it gives.
It's like a connection, and it makes you feel something towards that person. And I know that I followed a brand before. It was actually an eye mask brand called Space Masks, and I'd seen them before in stores like Oliver Bonas and whatever. I was like, they're kind of nice and whatever, and they heat up when you put them on. And my friend said, oh, follow her on Instagram, she's really funny. So then I started following her, and then I bought some because she made me laugh so much. And like, eye masks aren't funny, like that doesn't connect, but I wanted to support her. And I think it's like empathy, building empathy with like a human in the same way that you would in reality. And I guarantee if you opened your Instagram and started looking at the stories, the people that come to the front are the people you watch the most, and those people are going to be people who talk to the camera. I know mine are, and when I ask people and I'm like, does she, and it's like, yes, maybe, sometimes yes, because it's the most engaging thing, is just to have a conversation with somebody, and it's kind of like that.
But you still want to be telling stories, like you don't want to be boring.
No.
You don't want to have 20 stories of you chatting rubbish.
Yeah.
And also adding captions in.
Yes.
Really, really important, because there's a stat on the amount of people that watch stories with no sound on, isn't there?
Yeah, and you'll start to just see the numbers drop off. Like, if they can't listen all the way.
But yeah, definitely another way is to do video is showing people things.
Like a tour of your studio, a tour of, even if your studio is your bedroom, that's absolutely fine. People are interested in the most mundane stuff you could imagine. Like how you organise your fabric drawers, or how you organise your pens and your pencils and your sketchbooks. Like that's the kind of stuff people do actually really enjoy. So even if you don't want to be like this, talking to the camera, if you can turn it the other way but you're still talking over it. So if I turned the camera this way and I was talking about the clothes, you're still hearing my voice, rather than it just being like a video with music and it's just all a bit like cool, you know? Like try and build that human connection with somebody.
You want, especially on your stories and on your feed, to have a aesthetic, so that when somebody opens a story, they know that it's you. So always use the same text.
Same colour
palette, same filters and things like that. That would really help.
Even to the point, like the same scale. So I never ever have my text on the side, like on a slant, for example. I'll never like overlay something. So like say we took a picture here, I'd put the text here. I would never like put it across the picture. But certain things, so you're building an aesthetic, like you're saying, when people go on, they're like, oh, that's her story, I know that, without even seeing the handle.
That I think that's really effective, and it's just like very pleasing in an aesthetic way.
Yes. It feels like calm, like I know her.
I know her, she's not doing weird things. Like different colour fonts.
Red text, or I've never seen that. But another way to kind of build up to talking to stories is, like we were saying, turn the camera away from you and talk over it, or at least like getting your hands in. So whether it's you typing, or whether it's you sewing, or whether it's you sketching, literally doing anything with your hands and setting up a tripod like over what you're doing. So then people can see like it's a human, and you can put some cool rings on, you can get some nail art done, like you can still make it fun and exciting.
And don't worry if no one's watching it at the beginning.
You started from 0 followers at some point.
And
you just carried on going, even when you went, like I posted an event before and one person turned up. But it was fine. We made a laugh of it, it was cool. But I did it again, and then like 10 people turned up, and then I did it again and 50 people turned up. But so you just got to keep going.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's one of the biggest things about having your being freelance, starting your own business, all that sort of thing, is the failures can like really hit home really hard. And so you do have to focus on when you've done good things. I remember selling, when I first ever made a dress, and when I sold, oh god, I was like, oh my god, I've sold it.
Like the highs are really, really high, but then the lows can sort of like punch you in the stomach.
It can be really, really tough.
But know the things that like pick you up. So I've even written a list of all the things that give me like positive energy. So whether it's certain people, whether it's yoga, whether it's like exercise or swimming or going for a walk, spending time with my cat, like whatever it is, like you going for a walk with your dogs, and then referring back to that when you've had like a bit of a crap day, you're like, okay, fine. Sometimes it's quite a good question to think, I am my own boss. If my boss spoke to me the way I speak to myself, would I want to carry on working there? And the answer is sometimes no. You're such an idiot, you're such a failure, why did you do it like that? How can you have done that again? How did you? If somebody was speaking to you like that all the time, you would leave. So try and be a kind boss to yourself. We noticed there's like 2 parts to starting a fashion brand, and one is the manufacturing and one is the marketing of it. So Amy is going to be super clever and cut it down into 2 videos.
We're going to split it into 2 videos. So one all about everything manufacturing, and one everything about marketing, which is like your 2 pillars of having your own fashion brand.
Yeah.
I'm on Instagram at Amy Fuchsia, and Elizabeth is at Elizabeth Styles UK. Please leave us a comment or come say hello on social media and let us know.
We want to stay in touch. Engage with us. We've been banging on about engagement, so come and engage. Tell us who you are, introduce yourself, everything. We want to hear from you.
Yeah, and yeah, thank you so much.